because it has J's on both sides, and we didn't do that yet. Okay, so let's take a look at 218C. I believe that's number 10. Right? Number 7. This is pre-algebra. Today is the 15th of February. What page is it, Rain?
218C.
218C, number 7. It says negative 10 equals negative 14b plus 14b. Everybody see where I am? I've got 2 boxes here. What do I get when I put those 2 boxes together, Ronnie? No. 0. If you have negative 14b's and positive 14b's, you don't have any b's left over, do you, Ronnie? No b's. 0. That equals 0. And here we have negative 10. Does negative 10 ever equal 0? Is there any situation in the world where negative 10 equals 0? No. So the answer to this problem is no solution. No solution. There is no number that I can replace v with that will make this equation true.
But wouldn't it be 0 v?
Well, 0 v's is just 0. 1 v is v, 0 v's is no v's. Nothing. Because look, if I put 0 v here, what could v be that would make this not equal 0, Alan? If v were 5?
Yeah.
Or if v were 1, 0 times 1 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. If v were 10, 0 times 10 is 0. Do you see what that means?
Yes.
So 0v is the same thing as 0, isn't it? Because it's going to be 0 no matter what. Yes, sir?
I had put v equals 2.
But that's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? Do you see why it's wrong, though? Okay? This is why it's wrong. Does that make sense? Does Sarah have a question?
I have problems.
Go ahead.
I have trouble with number 16 on 218b.
On 218, 6b.
I'm so sorry, I forgot to do this. I was walking out and I remembered.
Everybody find that one, go to page 218.
It's 218b.
I'm sorry, say that again.
218b.
218b.
D.
Look, D. Look at page 218. D is in dog. Everybody turn to that page.
B.
D is in dog.
Can I use this calculator? Okay, I will see you on Friday. Okay. Do you want me to come early to help you with anything? You sure?
So now we're going to go to page 218D. What number is it, Sarah?
16.
Number 16. Read it to me, Sarah.
Negative 2 equals negative parentheses n minus 8 parentheses.
Okay. Now, the first thing we do is distribute, right? That's our step 1, distribute. We have to distribute this negative sign to the n and to the negative 8. So negative n is negative n. Negative 8 is positive.
That's where I was confused, like the distribution.
Does that make sense now? And then on this side, we still have negative 2. Now, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. I get negative 10 here equals negative n. But I don't want to know what negative n equals, do I? I want to know what positive n equals. How can I make that n positive?
Change the switch it over and get the negative sign to the negative 10.
No.
Change both signs.
But that's the shortcut.
Mhm.
But I want to know first how I do it before I look at the shortcut. How do I do it? I multiply, if I multiply negative n times negative 1, that will make it positive n, won't it? But I have to do it to both sides, don't I? I have to multiply both sides by negative 1. Right? Because if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side.
Turning off display, cancel, button, 1 of you.
Please figure out how to do that. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so when my variable has a negative sign in front of it, I have to multiply it by a negative 1, because remember, 1 times n still equals n. A negative times a negative, that makes it positive. Negative 1 times negative n equals positive n. And negative 1 times negative 10 equals positive 10. Then I turn it around, and I put a box around it. Any other questions about the homework?
Miss Laurie,
Yes, sir. Yes, Miss Sarah.
on page 222,
Page 222. So everybody turn to page 222. What number on page 222, Sarah?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. So on page 222, first we're going to look at 6. Let me just get this a little bit drier. Read it out to me, Sarah.
It says 15 cars enter the mall parking lot every 5 minutes. And then it's like A, B, C, and A is how many cars enter the parking lot in 10 minutes?
How many enter in 1 minute? If 15 cars enter the parking lot in 5 minutes, how many enter the parking lot in 1 minute? Now remember, we're talking unit rate, right? Unit rate. We want to know per minute, that goes at the bottom, so we're going to write this as a ratio. 15 cars per 5 minutes, right? Or 15 cars for every 5 minutes. What's the matter?
Just looking for Jordan.
We might have gone
To get
to
food.
either
He doesn't have his phone?
I tried calling it, didn't answer.
Who's he with?
I don't know. He just said
he
he's
normally
probably going to
went
go
by
get food.
himself to Sonic or Moe's Pizza down there.
Okay, so we write it as a ratio. 15 cars every 5 minutes. So how many cars every 1 minute? That's a unit rate. How do we figure out a unit rate? We multiply. What's 15 divided by 5? 3. So 15 divided by 5 is 3 what? Cars per minute. You see that? Cars per minute. So it's 3 cars. You're right here. 3 cars per 1 minute. Or 3 cars per minute. When we want to find the unit rate, we just divide. Now look right here. It's just the same thing as reducing. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 3 cars per 1 minute. or we can just do 15 divided by 5, and we get 3. That's going to leave us a 1 here. So now, let's take a look at, I think several people had questions about this. Let's take a look at number 2. Well, everyone try number 2 now. Read it out to me, Sullivan. I mean, number 7. Read it out to me, Sullivan.
15 cars into the mall parking lot.
Number 7. What was number 6?
It's the same question, it's just different.
Gotcha, I'm sorry. Okay, 15 cars.
Enter the mall parking lot every 5 minutes.
And what's the question now?
How many cars enter the parking lot every 1 minute, and then how many cars enter every 2, enter every 3, every 4, so on.
Oh, I see, it's A,
Yes,
not 7. I mean, it's not 6.
Yes.
Here's 6, right here.
yes, ma'am. Oh, you wanted to know?
Oh, this was not, we didn't do number 6 yet.
Yeah, that's well. Yeah, she said every 10 minutes, not 1. That was.
I thought she said every 1 minute. Let's go back to number 6.
I just thought you were gonna like.
No, let's go back to number 6. 15 cars every 5 minutes. 15 cars every 5 minutes. How many cars in 10 minutes? Minutes is here, minutes is here. Yes, ma'am.
30.
Well, we multiply our pair, and we divide. This one doesn't have a pair, does it? So we multiply our pair, 15 times 10, and then we divide by our odd man out. Put 15 times 10, get your answer. Press enter. Press enter. Where's your calculator? When you take out your binders, you should have your calculators out. That should also come out. X equals,
150.
no,
30.
you have to divide by 5 now.
She was right. 30.
30, yes. So 30 cars, X is 30, so 30 cars in 10 minutes. That was 6A. What is 6B? Sullivan?
How many cars enter the enter the parking lot in 25 minutes?
In 25 minutes. So we know that we have the ratio of 15 cars in 5 minutes. So how many cars in 25 minutes? You worked it out already?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you multiply first?
15 times 25 and divided
15 times 2 first. 15 times 25, you multiply the pair that you have. This one doesn't have a pair. There's no number here, so that's not a pair. Then you divide by your odd man out.
by 5. I got 75.
That equals 75. This is what X equals. X equals 75. And we see that it's 15 cars, so it's 75 cars. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
How about C? What's in your hand?
C.
Put your jacket down, pull your chair all the way up to the table, and put your hands on top of the table. There we go.
So you just circle.
No, it's okay. You don't have to, but he fiddles. So I'm trying to help him teach. I'm trying to teach him not to fiddle because he fiddles and looks down and doesn't tune in. But that's not for everyone. Okay. Say that again now. C. What is C, Kenzie?
You just circle the correct answer, which is the fastest way to get it, multiplied by.
Which is the fastest way to get? Let me read that.
Yeah.
Okay. How many cars enter the parking lot for 25 minutes? Circle the correct answer. What is the fast way to get the answers? Multiply and divide. So scratch that question out.
I said they
Yeah.
both.
Good job. Good job. Because that's what we do. We multiply and then we divide. So now,
So then can we cross out E on 7 because it's the same thing?
yes. So now let's look at number 7. Number 7 says there's still 15 cars in 5 minutes, and they want to know how many in 1 minute, huh?
Yes, ma'am. We did that one.
Yeah. Now, look, there are 2 ways. 15 cars in 5 minutes equals how many cars in 1 minute? And you see, you're going to do 15 times 1 is 15 divided by 5. 15 divided by 5. Because when we're looking for a unit rate per 1 minute, we can just divide. Because this is, if it's per 1 minute, then it's always just going to be multiplied times 1. It doesn't change it. So for per 1, we can say just 15 divided by 5. When we're looking for a unit rate, the per is always at the bottom. Okay? So, now, the next question is 2 minutes. Everyone, if you haven't worked that out, work it out. If you have, check your math. Mr. Jesse, did you do these? You have them done? Very good. Bonnie, before you leave, you need to get that page for this one. The page that you're missing? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I have the
What did you get?
6.
Yes. X equals 6. 6 cars. Any more questions about how to complete this sheet?
No.
Now, Jonathan, you asked me some questions. What these questions, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Very good. You understand that now?
Mhm.
Makes sense? Okay. Any other questions about the homework? Yes, ma'am.
I had some questions on page 218D.
218D. Everybody turn to 218D. I'm going to use that. Which number?
13 and 14.
37 equals -3 plus 5. This is 218D. 37 equals, now I forgot it.
-3 plus 5, parentheses, x plus 6, and then close them.
And this is number 13
Yes, ma'am.
on page 218D. Is everybody on that page? Now, Kimberly, what's the first thing that we do? What's the first thing that we do when we're trying to solve an equation? We see parentheses. So we distribute, right? Now look, this side doesn't have anything. It's going to sit tight. And this -3 is also going to sit tight, isn't it? Because we just have to sit tight until after we finish. Now, Kimberly, what is +5 times +x?
Positive 5.
+5 times +x. +5x. 5 times x is 5x, right? Because this means 5 times x. Now, what is +5 times +6, Kimberly?
Positive 30.
Very good, +30. First we distribute. Remember we have those steps written down? First we distribute if we have parentheses. Remember you have those steps in your notes? What comes second? Do you remember what comes second?
Boxes and circles.
That's right, boxes and circles. Now I don't need to do anything on this side, do I? Because it's only one term. But over here I have 3 terms. So let's see. This is a circle and this is a circle because there are no letters, there are no variables in those terms. But this is a variable term right here, right? So I have to put my 2 circles together, don't I? Now punch in your calculator, -3 plus 30. Go get one. Yes, ma'am. Hold on. I'm going to let her since she, Now you're going to have to see how the negative button works there. You might have to press the negative button before. Yeah, press the negative button before on that one, I believe. So press -3 and then plus 30.
27.
27 is correct. But first, I almost forgot. I need to put my box first, right? I put my box first. Then I put my 2 circles. Is that +27 or -27?
Negative 27.
What does your calculator say? Does it say -27? What does it say?
Positive 27.
+27. Have you found your error yet? You did? You know how to do this from here, don't you? What do I do next?
Solve.
Say it again.
Solve it.
And how do I do that?
Um,
Do I get rid of the 5 or the 27 first?
The 27.
What's farthest away from the x I get rid of first. Very good. I have to do it to both sides. This leaves me with 10 on this side, and this leaves me with 5x on this side. And what's the last thing I do, Kimberly? Oh, second to last.
Divide by 5 on both sides.
That's right, divide both sides by 5. Very good. 2 equals x. I turn it around, x equals 2, and I put a box around it. Now, let's take a look at 14. It's probably the same thing. Where did you make your error? Push up a little bit. Where did you make your error on number 13? Was it in the distributing? So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 4 is a positive 20, because this is positive and this is positive. So that's a positive 20, right? And then you just have, so you don't distribute. This only goes to what's in parentheses, not what's outside. So that's why this is not a negative 10. What is that? Just minus 2m. I'm going to do that one on the board. That's a good example. Kimberly, can you call the problem out to me? Number 14 on page 218B. Everyone look at number 14. Call it out to me, Kimberly.
Negative 13 equals 5, parentheses, 1 plus 4m, parentheses, and then negative 2m.
Minus 2m or negative 2m. So everybody look at this one now. This one's a little bit different. I have parentheses, so I have to distribute. But I only distribute to what's inside the parentheses. So this is just going to sit tight. Just like this sat tight right here, because it's not inside the parentheses or not being distributed. So this just sits tight. And of course this side sits tight. 5 times 1 is 5. And 5 times 4m is positive 20m minus 2m. Now we put boxes and circles. I have 2 boxes. That's 18m, a positive 5. So I didn't put the plus sign in front of the 5 here because it was the first term on this side. But once I'm putting it not first, because I put my variable term first, then I need to use that positive sign because that's a positive 5, so it's the same thing as plus 5. Then we subtract 5. We get negative 18 equals 18m. We divide by 18. We get m on this side. On this side we get negative 1. M equals negative 1. Check your answer to make sure that you got that correct. Now, when you're doing your homework, I want you to mark on your homework page, mark it in a different color or mark it big with a big star, whatever you have questions about, so that when you get to class, because you think you're going to remember it, but then you get to class and you forget what you had a question about. Yes. I was just going to ask if we're supposed to have a quiz in here today. Yes. Any other questions? Any other questions about the homework?
No.
Okay, get out 2 or 3 sheets of paper. That doesn't mean make noises. Sorry. Bye-bye. Put the dates, 2/15/17.
under that, do you want algebra quiz?
Yes, pre-algebra quiz.
Oh, darn it. Let me see your agenda, Sarah. And I'll equate this. I wanted to double check.
I wasn't sure if I told y'all we were gonna have, ratios or not.
In my agenda, it said quiz equations.
Yes, that's why I said I was checking, because I wasn't sure if I put ratios or not. So I just checked and I did not put ratios, so. What do I do with my marker now? I can't seem to keep myself organized here. Does anyone see my marker? I'll just use this one. Oh, okay. No talking.
Can you practice better?
Yes. Always check to make sure that you write not that one, the equation down correctly. Yes.
Okay, I can see it. Is that all?
What do you think we need to ask her? You may use calculators. You may always use calculators.
Story. At the end there, that 4 at the end of the bottom one, did you forget to put a period after it instead of a equal sign? See that's the 4 at the beginning of the last problem?
That's number 4, yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
4 equals 10 equals negative.
Right, that doesn't make sense. Thank you. Now that was a good question. Move quickly, we have 15 minutes to do this. If you're finished, please give your test to Jesse. Jesse will have to. If you're finished, if you're finished. Jesse, do you know whose this is? You were sitting back here earlier. Who was in back here in English?
It was me, but a bunch of people were throwing stuff.
But whose is this?
Whose book bag is that?
Who was sitting here but next to you, Daniel?
I think that was there before I sat there. So I don't know whose that
Who
was.
was sitting here, I'm asking?
I was the only person sitting there
The,
in that class.
For English, you were sitting up here.
the one with the
No,
black
that was
hair.
there.
I know.
Matthew.
Well,
No, that was
I
there
don't
for
think that's-
history, Miss Laurie.
I don't think that's. I don't think that was
That was there
mine.
for U.S. history.
That was here for U.S. history? Okay, thank you. You were right, Daniel.
And you can do it.
Yeah, I knew his job. Don't rush. Sarah, did you check to make sure that you wrote them down correctly?
Yes.
Come and check number 2 because it's not written down correctly.
Miss Laurie.
We just did it over and over.
Whenever I get a test, do you want me to like read it?
Yes, make sure it's written down correctly, so you're not practicing them. That's the problem, Kinsey, that's why, because you're smart enough to do it.
Yeah, like I know how to do it, but then when I take a test, I'm like, please.
That's because you were not practicing them.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do if you want to overcome that. You have to practice more. Did you complete all of your homework?
Mhm.
Completed all of your pages?
Yeah, and then some I had trouble on, but we went over them.
Okay. I might need to give you some extra practice. Ronnie, come here. Do you see me doing this on the board? Now this is what I do. I have 10 equals negative 6x plus 8x minus 10. Then I write 10 equals 2x minus 10 by putting these two together. Then I add 10 to both sides and write that on a line. Then I write down what I have left. 20 equals 2x, because this cancels this out. Then I show that I divided by 2, and underneath that I write x equals 10. 10. And then if I had more room, I'd write x equals 10 and put a box around it. I want you to do this. I want you to do it step by step. You operate, you tell me what you have left. You operate, you tell me what you have left.
So
Okay?
you just want me to write it all one more time again?
I want you to write it out just like this. Okay? Okay. Very good.
I fixed the baby.
Very good. No talking. Was it? I don't know. Probably somewhere on a table.
Okay. So for the hours.
Oh, that's your. Well, that's this one right now. Okay. Do we ever put it in decimal form, Rain?
No.
So why did you put it in decimal form? You forgot that?
Okay.
Okay.
It's, but in, if it's in fraction form, it's 10 1/8.
Not a mixed number, improper fraction form. Come see Rain. You drew your arrow from here to here. Why
did you get? Did you times it? What do you know? That's a math error, so I just want you to fix it, okay? Noah, do we ever put our answers in decimal form?
I forgot.
Do we turn it around and put a box around our answer?
This way. Did you already get to mine?
Yes.
Should I?
You missed your last one.
Okay.
Come see Miss Kimberly? Just see, so you can have that. So that's it right there. Okay? Okay, very good. Now, Mr. Percy, you have a record, okay? Thank you, sir. Jonathan, come see. Jonathan, come see. Good, Jonathan.
Just put me in an average test you said to take because I was absent.
Gotcha. Allie, come see. This one is fair. Because you had a We'll take about a 2 or 3 minute break. Yes, okay. Oh, yes. You did it. Excellent.
What?
Never mind.
Wait, the door's turning closer.
Kimberly, come see. You just have a math error here.
It says, which box have you It just makes her happy that it hasn't happened to her.
It's come back.
What's the name?
Oh, I can't put the new blockade on her. I don't know what those two were going to do. I had one idea that they were like so much activity that there's a huge imperial station that literally can't
Sullivan, come here.
so they can
He's
find
back.
different areas really, really quickly. And then I thought like, that's not how I'm destroying that.
Madeline, come here.
There's tiny small planets.
See if you see your error, and then I'll change it. I marked it.
Special operations going through animals. We have some Volker time. Yeah. Like,
Can we start back up?
What? I'm looking for you, Sullivan.
Yes, ma'am. I think I know what I did too. Did I not get negative to the end?
Why don't you put this line under these two instead of the box?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to put a box in.
Oh, I know. But why did you do that?
Just so I knew that I was gonna add them.
Did you add?
Oh, yeah, that's
No, ma'am.
really dangerous because if you're
Okay.
this way, you're holding it around. You cannot let it come too far, else fly by.
Miss Laurie, I know how to do. I even know what I did wrong.
I have yours, do I?
I turned mine in.
Okay, hold on, where is it? Do you see it? Hold on.
And I gave it to Jesse, but like I know what I did wrong. I like panicked, and then I redid it whenever I turned it in. I don't know. I guess the pressure's off. So like I already know. Like my first mistake was I did everything right, but I did not add like -4 and 8. But then it's gonna take me like a long time to do it because like everybody's
Everybody's working on it right now. Where is your?
right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, I can go redo it.
It's so coincidental that. Oh, yeah, that's a very good possibility. Yeah. Okay, so this was my idea. So Mark will then on the next page, in their door, they'll run.
Yeah, come see.
On like a scoop bike. Let us be the bike. And we go like, and then,
You may have that.
Starbird and his karate friend. I just sort of names with it. Karate kid race, all like your black eyes.
I redid it, but I still have the same answer. I have the boxes.
So,
I don't think that's the same answer.
I wrote it down.
No, you'll make an error. You'll see what your error was.
Okay.
Just look at what your error was.
Keeper going.
all those names, that was
I just wrote it down.
See, box.
this guy, or his name.
In circles.
What
What is that?
What's his name?
Get 1,055 in that box.
that's right. Your boxes and your stats. Does that make sense? You gotta. Does that make sense? Okay. So what should we do? Noah, come here. John, never mind, Jonathan, come here since you're already up here.
I was gonna. I'll pass.
Look at your other side. It's not in there. You're writing the loss. So you're lost.
Short age. So I'm tall. I can cover you up because no one knows that.
I made that a -2. So I'm just confused on this one. I finished all the other ones, but I'm stuck on this one.
Just tell me what your question is.
Well, I'm not
Question.
sure if I did the video.
You didn't write it down correctly.
Oh, I did it?
Nope, look at the board.
Well, that might be why.
And you're writing right on the paper and right on the table, and so you see how it's all jagged and hard to understand? You can't even understand yours. Put other paper underneath your paper so that you write smoothly and sharpen your pencil.
Okay.
Okay? So. Noah, come here. Yes, come in. Oh, no, just get it. It's under here, but it's not plugged in. You see it right here? Yeah, you just plug it in over there. Noah. Where did Noah go?
Probably.
In the back. I thought that the parade was during the day. I thought that the Mandeville parade was during the day.
Okay, Madeline, come get yours. Ethan, come get yours. Very quickly. Ronnie, come get yours.
Oh.
Madeline. Ethan.
Thank you.
Ronnie. Sarah, come get yours.
Sarah's in the.
Thank you. And Miss Kimberly, come get yours. Jesse, come get yours. Rain, come get yours. Noah, I'm looking for you. Rain, Jesse, come get yours. Noah.
Wait, there was a.
No. Jesse, good job.
Ah.
Nope, I don't want it. Nope. I want to partake in here.
I'm trying to find 6.
Right?
Hey, Ray. But we might want to make one that goes back in time and explains how.
That's a negative 10. I want you to redo. Not right now. Okay. Allie, you finishing that one up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll take just a minute more. Because we've got to get to this now. Okay. The majority of y'all did a fantastic job on this quiz. And those are some y'all have learned a lot when it comes to equations. A lot. I'm very proud of y'all.
Hey, put your fist up. Sci-fi or else, or you can put the whole like oh.
Do you want to just turn it in and like do it?
Can you stay after class and do it?
Yeah.
Just set it aside and do it after class.
Alright.
Quiet, keep it quiet. Allie's finishing up. And you can work on it a couple more minutes, Kenzie.
Okay.
I'm finished. I think I got it. Thank you.
No, exactly. Fine.
Daniel, will you come and bring this to Miss Diane for me, please? Oh, and I did something else for her. I must have already put that. Ask her if I put the money order on her desk and tell her there's a check in here and then these are some grades I need her to put in.
Okay,
Is there a money order on her desk? Did I leave that on her desk? There's a check in that envelope and there are grades on that envelope. Okay, everyone turn to page 223. Go. Now I want you to listen very carefully to this. And you may have to watch the video. This is going to be a new concept. And sometimes it can be difficult to kind of keep a hold of that understanding of it. And so you may have to watch the video. It will be on YouTube this afternoon. We're on page 223. Everyone should be on page 223.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. What was the question again?
Did I leave a money order on her desk? Okay. When we have a ratio, we really have three. The first, number one says, we're on page 223. The ratio, Ronnie, why aren't you on page 223? How many times have I said it?
Earlier today, yes, she did.
I want you to go to do what I tell you to do, exactly when I tell you to do it. Noah, good job being there when I gave the group. That's definitely building up that trust that I know that you'll follow me. Good job. Okay, the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 7 to 11. So we write that ratio, 7 to 11. Which one is boys? The first one, because it says boys to girls, 7 to 11. 7 to 11, boys to girls. Put down your calculator, Sullivan, and listen to this. Now, that's only one ratio. But whenever we have one ratio, we really have three. If I have 7 boys to 11 girls, how many do I have altogether? 18. 7 boys and 11 girls, right? 18 total students, right? You look for the total. So I have 7 boys for every 18 total, don't I? Out of every 18 total students, I have 7 boys. Now, Kenzie, what do you think my third ratio is?
11 girls to 18 total.
Exactly. 11 girls to 18 total. Whenever I have one ratio, I really have three. I have to look for part to part, then part to whole, and part to whole. So I always have one part to the other part. One part is boys, the other part is girls. Then I have boys to whole and girls to whole. Part to whole, part to whole. It's always going to be like that. If they give you a part to whole, then you need another part to whole and a part to part. If they give you a part to part like they did here, then you have to do one part to the whole and the other part to the whole. Now, we have to figure out from the question they ask us which ratio we're going to use. Kimberly, what question do they ask us here?
How many boys and girls are there together?
Let's see.
There are total of 49 boys in the classroom. Then how many boys and girls are there all together?
You see that? The whole question is, if there are a total of 49 boys, if there are a total of 49 boys, then how many boys and girls are there all together? Boys and girls together is what? My total. So if there are 49 boys, how many total students are there? Do you understand the question? If there are 49 boys, how many total students are there? Boys and girls together is total students. Which one of my ratios deals with boys and total? Go ahead, Madeline.
Second one.
This one. There are 7 boys for every 18 total. That's how I know which ratio. It didn't ask me for boys compared to girls. It didn't ask me to compare girls to boys and girls together. It asked how many, if I have 49 boys, how many do I have all together? Boys and girls all together. So I know this is the ratio I'm going to use. So now I'm going to rewrite this. 7 boys to 18 total are all together. Now I can write the other ratio. If I have, boys is here and all together is here. If I have 49 boys, that goes up top because boys is up top. How many do I have all together or total? How do we solve this, Sarah?
You multiply your pair and then divide by the odd one out.
Exactly. Multiply your pair, 49 times 18. Get your answer first, then divide by your odd man out. That's what your x will equal. Punch that into your calculator. Yes, ma'am.
126.
What'd you get? What?
126.
Does everybody agree it equals 126?
Yes.
Wait, yes.
126 what? Boys and girls together. Because that's what the question asked us, huh? Total are boys and girls together. Or you could put total students, 4 on 4. Now, look at number 2. Write the first ratio that they give you, and then write the other 2 ratios for me. Write the first ratio that they give you, and then the other 2. Well, we'll go over it. Don't worry. Just try. And then we'll go over it. I've already done it once, so don't worry. Don't get frustrated yet. Try not to. Don't expect yourself to absolutely get it. Walk me through this, Ethan. What is the first ratio they give me?
6 marbles over 7 stones.
6 marbles what that was.
After some more.
Oh, okay. Over 7 stones. Does everyone agree that that's our first ratio? That's right. Marbles to stones, 6 to 7. 6 comes first and marbles come first. So it's 6 marbles. Marbles to stones, 6 to 7. Now, that's part and part, isn't it? So I need to have one part on top and then the other part on top. Right? And then what do I need to have at the bottom? This is part to part. What do I need to have at the bottom of these now, Ethan?
The total.
The total. And so what would the total be?
13.
13. And we could just call them objects, can't we? 13 objects. 13 total. 13. Doesn't matter what you call them. Sometimes they'll give us a clue in the problem, but you just have to know what it means. Now, so did that answer your question? You seem to know that.
Okay.
You weren't sure of yourself?
No.
But that makes sense?
Okay. No.
Now, what is the question?
If there are 42 marbles, then how many stones are there?
So what are we comparing? Are they asking us to compare marbles to stones, marbles to total, or stones to total?
Marbles to stones.
That's right. So which ratio are we going to use? Which one of these, Ethan? Which one compares marbles to stones?
The second two.
This compares, you have to choose one.
Oh, one.
Right. Marbles to stones. So I'm going to write, and I can just write it down now, 6 marbles to 7 stones. So now I've chosen the ratio that I'm going to use. Now, I go back to the question, if there are 42 marbles, where does 42 go? The numerator or the denominator here? It's 42 what?
It's 42 marbles.
And do marbles go on the top or the bottom?
Top.
Yeah, we put them on the top. That's because that's how they gave it to us. And then this is what they want to know. Oh, how many stones? And stones are at the bottom. What do we do, Ethan?
42.7.
42 times 7.
Okay.
Not 0.7.
Oh.
And then divide by
6.
the odd man out, 6. Because he doesn't have a pair, huh? 49. Did you get 49? Very good. 49 what, Rain?
49 stones.
49 stones is your answer. You cannot write just 49. You have to write 49 stones. You hear that, Ronnie? You have to write 49 stones. Nick, does that make sense? Very good, very good. Now let's turn to page 225 and everyone try 1A. one more week before Mardi Gras break, so next week y'all do not get homework. So we're now on page 225, 1A. Ronnie, what's the first ratio what is the ratio that they gave me?
3 girls to 2 boys.
That's right, 3 girls to 2 boys. They wrote it as 3 to 2. That's another way to write a ratio. They said the ratio of girls to boys is 3 to 2, girls to boys. 1A. What are my other 2 ratios, Ronnie?
3 over 18 and 2 over 18.
Where'd you get 18 from? We don't look at that yet. We take our first ratio and come up with our other 2 ratios before we look at anything else. So what would that be, Ronnie?
3 over 5 and 2 over 5.
3 girls to 5 students and 2 boys to 5 students, or 5 total. These are chess club members, so members. Now, what is it asking us to compare? It says there are how many girls?
3.
No, now that we've come up with our 3 ratios,
18.
there are 18 girls, and what's the question?
How many total members?
How many total? 18 girls, how many total? So we're comparing, now they want us to compare girls to total. Which one am I going to use?
3 over 5.
That's right, because this compares girls to total here. If I have 3 girls for every 5 total students, I'll call this total. If I have 18 girls, how many total do I have? They're asking us to compare girls to total, girls to total here, so we use girls to total. Sarah, what did you get?
30 total.
So we did 5, or 18 times 5, and then divided by 3. You got 30, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
That's correct. 30 what?
Total.
30 total club members. Does that make sense? Now, let's jump to, let's go to 2A. This worded it a little bit differently. When they say, first they tell us that there are 350 beans in all. So let's set that aside for a minute. We're looking for our first ratio first. Of all the beans, 1/7 are kidney beans. 1/7 are kidney beans. What that means is 1 is kidney out of every 7 total. That's your ratio right there. 1/7 are kidney means 1 out of every 7. 1 out of every 7 total are kidney beans. I want your hands up here so you're not fiddling. 1 kidney out of every 7 total. Does that make sense? That's your ratio. So now, what are our other 2, Allie?
1 kidney over 8 total and 7.
No, we have 7 total here. You see, we have a part to a whole here, don't we? What's our other part? What are the rest of the beans? Lima beans. So I need, this is part over whole, isn't it? And remember, I have part over whole, and part over whole. Those are the 3 things that I need, right? I need 1 part over part, then I need first part over whole and then the second part over the whole. Now, I have 1 kidney out of 7 total, so how many are limas then out of the whole? Well, the whole is still going to be 7 total, isn't it? But how many of those are lima beans, Allie?
0.
1 out of every 7 is kidney and all the rest of them are lima.
So 6.
That's right. 6 out of 7 are lima beans. Because if 1 out of 7 are kidneys and all the rest, then we have 6 more, right? Because 6 and 1 equal our total of 7. 6 of them out of the total are lima, 1 out of the total are kidney. That was a tricky one, wasn't it? Yeah. Now, Allie, what's my part to my part? What's my part in this one?
6.
6 lima. What's my part in this one?
1.
So 1 kidney. Or I can have 1 kidney to 6 lima. It depends. But we don't, we either way. It doesn't depend. We can write it either way. Let's write it 6 lima to 1 kidney. Okay? So now the first thing you've got to do is pull the information about what your 3 ratios are. Yes, bless you. First, you've got to pull out the information. You get your first ratio and you come up with the other 2. Remember, it's part to part, then part to whole, and part to whole. 2 of them are part to whole, because you have 1 part to the whole and the other part to the whole, and then 1 part over the other part. Now let's read the question. We know at the beginning they told us there's 350 total, huh? So we don't know which ratio we're going to use yet, but we know that they told us that there are 350 total, right? They gave us that information at the beginning, trying to trick us. Now they say, and just imagine, if there are 350 beans total, what is the ratio of kidney to lima? This is going to be tricky. They gave us the total, but what is the ratio of kidney to lima? First, we need to find out how many limas we have to total. Because this is total, so we have to use one of these. Let's do 6 lima to 7 total. And let's find out how many lima beans we have if they're 350 total. 6 times 350 divided by 7 equals, I think, 300, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
300. So I know I have 300 lima. Now what are they asking me? What is the ratio of what to what?
Kidney beans to lima beans.
So they want to know now, kidney beans to lima beans. I found out that if there are 350 total, there are 300 lima. So how many kidney beans would there be? 50, because it's a 350 total, right? And 300 plus 50 equals 350. That's a very difficult one. And most of them are not that difficult. Write that out and practice that one at home. Okay, write that one out and practice it at home. Now, everybody have it? Can I erase it?
Can I put my test on your desk?
Yes. Okay. Now let's look at the last one, 4A. They give us 3 things, don't they?
I'm so excited.
That was good. I'm proud of myself for that. Okay. Gavin has nickels, dimes, and quarters.
We skipped 3.
Yes, we're not, 3 is just like, or almost like number 2.
I wanted to do that when I had dogs.
Not as complicated, but we have to get to number 4 because some of your homework is going to use comparing 3 things.
I like them.
So now let's see. Gavin has nickels, dimes, and quarters in a ratio of 2, 1, 2. Now, we can write several ratios. First, let's do, well, what's our total number of coins?
5.
5. 2, 1, and 2. So that's a total of 5. So now we can say 2 nickels to 5 total, 1 dime to 5 total, and 2 quarters to 5 total, right? Each of these to the total. Then we can say 2 nickels to 1 dime, 2 nickels to 2 quarters, and then 1 dime to 1 quarter. We've already done now quarters to dimes and quarters to nickels and dimes to nickels. Do you see that? So when we have 3, we should have 6 ratios. Yes, ma'am?
How did you go from 2 quarters to 1 quarter?
We have 2 nickels to 2 quarters. 2 nickels to 2 quarters. Thank you. That's a 2. That's why I made a mistake. Thank you for catching that. 1 dime to 2 quarters. 1 dime to 2 quarters. A good job, Sarah. 1 dime to 2 quarters. So whenever you have 3 different choices, you're going to have 6 ratios instead of 3 ratios. Now, let's look at our question. If 12 of his coins are quarters, so if he has 12 quarters, so we know right now, we're going to use either this one, or this one, huh? Because those are the only ones that have quarters, right? You see that? If he has 12 quarters, how many nickels and how many dimes does he have? So we're going to have to do it twice. Let's first look at, if he has 12 quarters, how many nickels does he have? Which one are we going to use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Nick, which one are we going to use? We want to compare quarters to nickels. Which one compares quarters to nickels, Nick? First one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, or sixth one?
The first?
Quarters to nickels. You see that?
Oh.
This is nickels to total. This is quarters to nickels, or nickels to quarters. Same thing. So we're going to use this one first. 2 nickels to 2 quarters. So if he has 12 quarters, how many nickels? How many nickels?
12.
Huh?
12.
12. And you can look at that and say, he's got the same number of nickels as quarters. So if he has 12 quarters, then he has 12 nickels. Now, why am I spelling nickels wrong? Thought it looked wrong. Nickels. I don't usually spell things wrong. That worries me. I'm going into dementia here. Now the next question is, if he has 12 quarters, how many dimes does he have? Which one are we going to use now, Ethan?
We're comparing quarters to dimes.
Yes, Noah? I want you to be looking up here. I want you to pull close to the table. Hands up. Put your sweater down off of your lap. and look up here. Okay, go ahead.
It's the last one.
Because we want to now compare quarters to dimes or dimes to quarters. This one compares 1 dime to 2 quarters. Now, if we have 12 quarters, how many dimes do we have? 6. 1 times 12 divided by our odd man out equals 6. X equals 6. So that is 6 dimes. Now I want everyone to go to page 227. And read 5A and do it. Page 227, 5A. Jonathan, what's the answer?
I haven't figured it out yet.
Jesse, what's the answer?
I didn't.
You don't have to do any math for this. What is the ratio of stars to hearts to circles?
Oh. 10 to 40 to 7.
That's right. 10 to 40 to 7. Because there are 10 stars to 40 hearts, I think it is, to 7 what?
7 circles.
7 circles. This is the answer. Stars to hearts to circles. They tell you that there are 40 hearts, 10 stars, and 7 circles. Then they say, what is the ratio of stars to hearts to circles? So you put stars to hearts to circles. Now let's go backwards a little bit to page 226. And I want everyone to try number 5A. 5A. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We didn't have to do math on that. But
We didn't do what?
since we didn't have to do math like on that one, we just wrote it.
Since we didn't do what?
Since we didn't have to do like any math on that one, we just wrote it down. But like, this one said that's the ratio of
This one asks for a ratio. We can write a ratio this way, but wasn't that 50 to 300? It was 300 to 50? You had it backwards in the house?
I have 300 at the bottom.
Yeah, it was 300 at the bottom.
It was.
Hold on. But you just have your switch, so that's still correct. You can have it. It was 300 lima. It was 50 kidney to 300 lima, right? And you had 300 lima to 50 kidney, same thing. But this asks for the ratio of these two. We can write a ratio this way, or we can write a ratio this way. Let's take a look at this. I can write a ratio 2 to 5 or 10 to 40 to 7. Both of those are ratios. But when we have 3, we can't write it as a fraction, can we? So for a ratio of 3, we have to put it like this. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
That was it? Okay. Now remember that a fraction is a part to whole. When they give you a fraction, it's the part, whatever they're talking about, to the whole bunch. No tapping, please. You finished this, Jesse?
No.
Why are you writing on your agenda then?
Sorry.
I want you to write on this. What were you making a note of?
Yeah, I accidentally put this on Tuesday.
Okay. I want you to think about that later, yes. Okay, very good. Now, Jesse, you were thinking about that? Are you finished? The 120 coins all together, that's what we're going to use later, huh? We're not going to use that yet, are we?
Sorry, what was that page on the, what page was that page on this?
We're on 226, 5A. You haven't started yet?
No, I was on the wrong page.
Okay, so you just need to get on 226, 5A, and then that is not page 226. Where is page 226?
226, see? I think it got confused.
That's my problem.
226.
227, but.
Show me your 225.
Oh, gotcha.
Just.
Move your hands. Move your hands.
Yes.
Okay, your first 226. I don't know what happened with those numbers. 222, 223, 224, 225, 226. Okay, that was my fault, Ethan. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit confusing. We'll check that in a minute. Now, where did I put my piece of paper now? So now let's take a look at this. Ethan, just follow along right here. It says 3/8 of my coins are nickels, or her coins are nickels. That means 3 nickels out of 8 what? Total. Very good. Out of 8 total. 4 dimes out of 8 what? Total. Now we know that this is also going to be 8 total, right? So how many are quarters, Ronnie? 1. Because I already have 7, so there's only 1 more left out of 8. Does that make sense, Kimberly? Very good. Now we have 3 nickels to 8 total, 4 dimes to 8 total, 1 quarter to 8 total. But we have 3 things, so we have 3 more ratios we need to find. 3 nickels to 4 dimes. 3 nickels to 1 quarter. And then 4 dimes to 1 quarter. We do this one to this one, and this one to this one. Then this one to this one. Or this one to this one, and this one to this one. Then this one to this one, and we have our 6. Okay? If you do it in that order, you won't duplicate. So now, let's look at the question. They started out by telling us that Grace has 120 coins total. So she has 120 coins total. So we know we're going to use one of these ratios, huh? That have total. Well, we think. We're not sure. Let's see. She has 120 coins total. What is the ratio of nickels to dimes to quarters? What they mean is the ratio of nickels to dimes to quarters is 3 to 4 to 1. That's really the answer to the question. But what they really mean to ask is how many nickels does she have, how many dimes does she have, and how many quarters does she have? That's what they mean to ask. So the first thing we're going to say is, if we have, let's find nickels first. If we have 3 nickels to 8 total, then how many nickels if we have 120 total? We're going to go 3 times 120 divided by 8.
45.
45 nickels. 45 nickels. Now, we know that there are 120 total. Now let's find dimes. 4 dimes to 8 total. So how many dimes if we have 120 total? Now we're going to go 4 times 120 divided by 8.
I got 60.
60. 60 dimes. 60 dimes. Now, I can do the same thing if I have 1/4 to 8 total. How many quarters do I have if I have 120 total? 1 times 120 divided by 8, how many is that, Ronnie? 15. Or I could have said, well, I know I have 120 total. 120 minus 60 minus 45 will give me 15 quarters. Do you have a question about that? Anybody have a question about that? This is complicated, so you might need to watch the video again. So now, pay close attention because this is going to, I don't know why I have so much trouble with page numbers. Yes. Okay, we're going to go through that. So everyone, turn to page 223. No talking right now because I need for everyone to listen and be on the same page. Do it exactly when I tell you to do it. Turn to page 223. It should say ratio word problems. Turn to page 224. It should say rates and ratios at the top. Raise your hand if it doesn't. Turn to page 225.